Welcome everyone, it's Shari Carroll for SimonsSaysStamp.com, and today I have the final entry of my circle journal. I'll be sad to see this go, but I'm also looking forward to January 2025 where I can start a new one. Today's project features a lot of our product from our DieCember release. I'm going to walk through the pages that I've already completed. I have such a variety of techniques and textures and layering options, and I've also used some really great stamps from Holtz and also some beautiful papers that were layered over top, some rub-ons, stencils, and even some dies to start the year off. I was really inspired by our new cardstocks. These are Sage and Rainforest, and I just love these greens, and they're going to be basically the inspiration and backdrop for my circle journal for today. I am using the Simon Says Stamp 4-inch nested circle die, and this is a great size. If you want to do journal pages for cards, you could do them in circles, or even take the inspiration that I'm working with and create cards. So I'm also using some watercolor cardstock since I'll be doing a little bit of inking techniques, and also this wonderful die that just came out in our DieCember release. This is called the Grand Pixie Snowflake, and it's unique in that it cuts out these little dots. Actually, it impresses those into the paper, and then it also cuts out that glorious snowflake. And it also fits really perfectly onto my 4-inch circle. I've die cut on the smooth side of the watercolor cardstock, and I'm using Evergreen Bough, and for my inking platform or my inking surface, I'm using our brand new craft tacky mat, and this is the smallest size. We have 3 sizes available, but this is perfect to do your inking. So I've pressed that ink onto the craft mat, and now I've spritzed it with some water, and I'm clearing out some of those edges so that it won't have any sharp lines for when I tap my paper into it. So I'm just going to press this watercolor cardstock right into that ink, and then I can lift it up and see what I have so far. I have that beautiful green, and now I can go back and tap in some more color. My next step is to add a little bit of sparkle to my background disc, and this is Merriment. It's the Holtz Distress Mica spray, and I'm just going to spray this on a little bit in the center where it'll show through from that snowflake. On the back of my die cut snowflake, I'm going to start adding some Simon Says Stamp craft tacky glue, and I'm just going to add it into these little areas that could pop up from the front. And next I am taking like a half sheet of our ACETATE cardstock, just making sure that's going to go around that whole disc, and I'll press this down and let it dry completely. I have used my scissors and I've trimmed out that acetate so that it fits the disc, and now I'm using the Simon Says Stamp foam strips, and these are really great, especially when you want to use them on a curved area. So keeping that backing all together, I'm just running that strip around the outside edge, and then when I get to the end I can snip off the excess, and I have that fully sealed and ready for some mica flakes. Before I add the flakes, I'm just using our anti-static powder tool, and I'm just going around the edge of that adhesive because I don't want them to stick all to the sides. So once I have that applied, I can start adding in my mica flakes. These are from Holtz, and I'm just going to sprinkle some into the center of my disc. If you've gotten a little bit too much, you can just grab some of that and return it back to the jar. But I'm going to sprinkle these out and just make sure that they can cover that snowflake but yet not be too thick. Here's how my disc looks with that mica spray. It has a really nice sparkle. I've removed a little bit of the backing of those foam strips just to get my circle started. I want to make sure that it aligns really nicely. And then I can reach under and start to grab some of that other backing. And then I can press down my disc together to make sure that they're sealed and none of my mica flakes will escape. And here's how this is looking. I have those mica flakes inside. I have that acetate and that background paper with a little bit of sparkle. So now it's time to start on the top portion. So I have the Fanciful Joy, and I have die cut that from the Sage cardstock. And what I've done is I've left that center piece in there, the center joy, and I've added some foam tape and some of those foam strips. And I want to keep that all intact for easy assembling later. But before I do that, I want to get back to my Merriment Distress Mica spray. I'm just going to give this a couple little shots so that it can also be sparkly when it's dry. For the other portion of my die, I'm using the Simon Says Stamp Terrific Sheets, and I'm cutting a piece that'll fit onto my silver matte cardstock. Once I have that trimmed down, I will release one of the backing sheets, and I'll put this on the back of my silver cardstock. And now I can just press that down, and I can use my die on the front side to cut it out. Next, I'll remove my silver foiled piece from the die, and I'm going to start to separate these little letters. So they're really super fine, and once you get them released, I can add them to that sage background. And I was lucky on this one that it did pull away from that adhesive. But now I can place this right on top of where that Y sits, and I have it stuck to that background shadow, and I can just press this down in place. Now you can continue adding the rest of the letters, and if that adhesive doesn't come off the backing, you can use your fingernail or a pick tool to remove that. And again, I can place that right over the joy that is sitting there in that shadow. And now that I have my last letter in place, you can see how pretty that is against that sage paper. And since I already have my adhesive on the back of my joy word, I can pull off some of those backings to the large pieces, and I can set this right on top of my snowflake. And I'm going to put this right in the center. I'll be adding another little message underneath. So make sure you have it straight, since your snowflake has that up and down line, and you want to make sure that's straight, and press that down. We have come out with some new sentiment strips, and these are called easy strips. They say that on the back, so you know that they're easy strips. And the easy strips go with a die, so these will cut everything all at once. So it's one die, and the words are set up so that you can just place this on top. If you get it right, turn it upside down. You can place this right on top, tape it in place, and run it through your die cut machine. These are brand new for our DieCember release, and we're really excited to offer you more as we go through the new year. Here I have all my little pieces cut out, and they're all ready for assembly, and I'll probably use them on my Christmas presents. And since I'm using the reverse of these easy strips, I'm just going to go around all the edges with the black marker so that it doesn't show the white core. And I'll be using our foam strips on the back of this. I just need to cut off a little bit of that excess that's on the side. These foam strips are perfect for sentiment strips and some of your skinny work as well. So now I can remove the backing of this, and then I can apply it to my project. To finish these off, I have some silver twine, and I have wrapped that around the side in between those two discs, and I've tied it at a knot at the top. And then I've added some Dazzling gems in clear, and I think this is really pretty. I also glued on that other piece of my snowflake onto the back. This would actually make a really cute ornament or a present topper. I love how this one turned out. The colors are just close to my heart. And the word joy is my mom's name, and I always love to use it on my Christmas projects. I hope you've enjoyed this whole series of my circle journal. I have a picture coming up of all the ones that I've created so far. They've been super fun to work with. I hope you've enjoyed this project. I can't wait to start in January of 2025 with a whole new journal. Any comments or suggestions would be welcome. I do have my supplies listed in the description box below, along with a link to the blog post. And as always, thanks so much for watching.
Hi there, I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at simonsaysstamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.